Refugee Support Services in New South Wales have joined forces with yoga instructors to offer classes to assist in the recovery from torture and trauma. The classes are being modelled on the Hackney Yoga Project in London, and this Sydney pilot has been proving very successful. And now the Refugee Yoga Project has been born. Joining me now is instructor Danielle Begg. Danielle, thanks so much for dropping in today.
Thank you for having me.
These classes sound fantastic. Have you got a lot of people coming?
Yeah, there's 8 groups currently running. So there's been over 100 men, women and children who have been attending the classes, and there's also a wait list for future classes.
And do you run the classes based on where people come from, or because clearly there'll be language issues here as well?
Yeah, so we try and have groups where everyone speaks the same language. So we have a group who are Nepalese speaking, a Bhutanese group. We have Arabic speaking groups, so predominantly from Iraq. And then we also have a Tamil speaking group from Sri Lanka. And as well as that, we also have a mixed group of primary school children, predominantly Arabic speaking, but the class is taught in English.
So what feedback have you had from refugees doing the classes?
The feedback so far has been really encouraging. So during the pilot, we asked all of the participants just to write down 1 or 2 words in their own language or English about how they feel. So the kinds of feedback that we received were things like feeling much more relaxed and calm, being able to sleep, feeling less pain in the physical body. And over time, these people have been telling other people in the community about the classes, and that's how the classes have grown.
You would assume that in some of these classes some trauma might arise, having that time and space to actually contemplate and ruminate on what has been going on in their lives. How do you manage that space if someone comes out of a class and is feeling quite vulnerable?
Yeah, so this is what's quite unique about this model, is that the partnership with STARTS, the New South Wales Service for the Treatment and Rehabilitation of Torture and Trauma Survivors, STARTS counsellors are present for every class. So as you said, when there is stillness and space, sometimes issues can arise, and in that event there's a counsellor who's able to speak to the person in more detail after the class or at a later point.
As an instructor, I presume most of your classes are for non-refugees, but is there a difference for you when you're standing up in front of that class and taking a class and people who have come from such different backgrounds and histories? What's it like for you?
It's wonderful. I feel very lucky to be sharing the gift of yoga. It's very diverse in terms of the classes that I teach. So for some people, they're actually familiar with yoga and have a very good understanding of what it's all about. For other people, they have never heard of yoga before, or maybe they've heard it once or twice, but they prefer to watch the first couple of times before participating. So it's very interesting to be able to teach refugees.
And Danielle, where do you see this hopefully going into the future? More classes, more people?
Yeah, the purpose of the evaluation is to build an evidence base for this treatment, and hopefully mainstream trauma services will be able to incorporate body therapy, especially yoga, in their treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder, depression and anxiety.
Danielle Begg, yoga instructor, thank you so much for dropping in today.
Thank you for having me.